What's up, guys? I'm Matt Risinger.
And I'm Mark Willie.
On the Build Show today, new products. We got some cool stuff, Mark, from some flashings that I've never seen before, some windows, concrete forming, insulation, and we could just about build a house with some of the cool stuff we got today. You ready, Mark?
Is this thing on?
It's on. You ready? Build Show new products. Let's get going. The most satisfying sound, isn't it? All right, Mark, have you seen these Windbags before on the job site?
Yeah, we were out in Boston recently, weren't we?
Josh was using these to set his windows. And, you know, I've seen these a lot, but I guess I didn't realize how often carpenters are using them to actually move things rather than, I don't know what I thought they were for originally, but if you look at their IKEA-style photos in the back of this, there's all kinds of cool uses, including just shoving stuff over. You know, setting windows, you got a real heavy window. We need to move it over, we need to move it up. Check out all the different sizes of these Windbags.
This one here goes up to 2 3/4 inches, which it actually looks like it goes slightly higher than that. But it also has lifting up to 550 pounds.
Holy cow, that's a lot. And this one, 135 kilograms, which I would have never known what that meant, but apparently that's 300 pounds. I feel like there's a George Washington Saturday Night Live joke in there somewhere.
I'll tell you, inches, centimeters, it's very confusing.
It is very confusing.
Our friends from Denmark sent these out, and I just can't stop going.
That is a good feeling. Although Windbag kind of sounds like some blue-haired lady saying something about her friend in the nursing home. She's such a windbag. Anyways, I do like these, and I like that they're in all kinds of different sizes. But next up, Mark, something that we've seen on the job site that is incredibly useful. Wow, you're strong, dude. The Grabo. So compared to standard suction cup tools, which work really well on glass, these will repump themselves up when they've lost pressure. Now, I don't think that's going to happen as much with a super slick glass surface.
Right.
But what's cool about these is if you look on their box, they're saying, hey, we can do all kinds of things. We can do concrete pavers, textured glass, metal, gypsum board. Even wood, because if it loses suction, it will repump. There's like a little gauge on here. And as that gauge drops in pressure enough that the cup would lose pressure, it'll repump itself up. Battery powered, and I'm assuming we're going to press the red button.
This is all about sounds today,
There
right?
it is.
Sounds we're very familiar with.
Pretty awesome. I really like these. I think these are super helpful. And the other thing that is totally unique on these that I've not seen before are these lash points. When we saw Josh using these on the job site, he rigged up a come-along above a header and used this Grabo as a lash point to lift up a heavy window without having to muscle it, just hit that come-along.
When you order them, remember to get at least 2, because based on most of the windows that we're all putting in, you're going to need to balance that weight properly.
Yeah.
And this will allow you to secure it. Josh was working by himself, right? So that was a little different.
But I do think that 2 is necessary when you're moving glass wrap, for sure.
Go ahead and get 2. Keep them in their cases. Keep them clean.
Grabo tools, pretty impressive. Well, we're at it too, Mark. Interlux, are you familiar with this company?
They do something unique when it comes to triple pane, don't they?
They do. So this is a fiberglass company built in America. They're right in Nebraska, is that right? Right in the heartland of America. I've actually talked to several people there, including the owners. Family-owned company. You happen to see the sample window they sent us because I asked them for a triple glaze sample. Is the black fiberglass, triple glaze or double glaze. A little bit limited in what they offer. They don't have everything like some of the bigger manufacturers. No double hung or single hung, but everything.
But it's everything we're used to, right? In terms of the tightness, they have the casements and they have the awnings.
That's right.
And the tilt and turns from the performance world, sometimes the marketplace, Matt, they're not ready for it.
Yeah, so these are not a tilt turn. These are going to be the standard operating to the outside principle like you would see a American manufacturer. And then you'll notice this one is flangeless, ready for a retrofit, but they also make them with nailing flanges on as well. Neat company, and I had them price a project for me that I was a little late in the process, and I ended up ordering what was already in the budget, but I was very impressed with the price point here, Mark.
Yeah, knock on wood, the next project, they get these nice fiberglass windows, and we get to do an install with Interlux.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I like Interlux. We'll put a link to everything we talked about in the description, by the way. So, Mark, are you sleeping out under the stars with your new tent? What's going on over here, brother?
I could. Fast foot standard corner. And you know who used this.
Oh, Jake.
That's right.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So this is the same company that makes the Fast Foot system. Am I saying that right?
Yep.
Brand new to these guys, they call it Fast Tube. So instead of the cardboard tubes, these, on the other hand, Mark, are made of some type of...
Polyethylene.
Okay, seems like a fabric, like a woven fabric. So I suspect that's waterproof too,
Yeah.
right?
All weather, and boy, if it isn't durable.
They look pretty cool. So they sent us a kind of a sample tube right here, and I'm guessing that after you're done, you actually strip the form with a knife. Is that right?
That's the fun part. So you stack 2 2x4s, and you screw them together, and that's going to hold you rigid. And that column, because of how this is made, you can cut these at the length you need. So we have 50 foot and 100 foot. Different sizes, right? You got your 8s, your 10s, your 12s, your 14s, and your 16s. Look at that.
That's kind of cool. So you can cut it whatever length you want, no waste. And then this is what you're saying. You would clamp some 2x4s, screw it together.
You got it.
And that's going to hold that thing rigid as you're pouring it.
Here's the great part. When you're all done, because of that polyethylene, that doesn't stick to the concrete.
That's neat.
So you just come by.
Seems like stripping those forms is no big deal.
Obviously, this isn't concrete because
Yeah.
I could carry it. But boy, if that isn't slick. Now, you can't reuse that afterwards.
Right.
But you're not worried about it because you have your roll. You cut that off for the next run.
That's pretty neat. I saw in their literature they kind of compare this size-wise to the typical cardboard rolls and how much space they take up compared to this, which is nothing, right? You could throw this in the back of your truck and you could have multiple jobs staged in the back of your truck. No big deal.
They're so durable, the way that just sits in there. And then, I think you have a project coming up with some framing, right?
Yeah.
Look behind you. Careful where you grab.
What is this, Mark?
So your project has some framing coming up, right? So you're going to pop your drill on here.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to go zzz, and this is the bracing for your framing. So this will go back down on
The
the
deck.
sheathing deck,
Yep.
right? And
This
off
is
we
just a
go.
standard 2x4 wall brace. And then we can go up or down and get that wall nice and plumb with just a little micro adjustment on a drill too, no less.
Right. It's really good for ICFs as well. You're having that support go on there.
That's pretty cool.
So this way, when all the load comes into your forms, you're bracing that. Take them off, use them on the next job. Just make sure you take care of your equipment.
I'm impressed by this company, Mark. They seem to always be innovating and coming out with new products. Looks like it's fab-form.com. They tell us that a lot of retailers are stocking these. These are actually made in Canada. But I suspect if you can't find a retailer, you can probably buy it off their website as well.
Yep, made in Canada.
That's pretty cool. Good stuff. Fab Form. Mark, we got something fluffy to talk about next, it looks like.
And it's from a company we all know and love. They're called Newall.
Newall. Okay, let's cut this bad boy open and see what we got here. Everybody likes cellulose because of its recycled content. One thing I didn't know that's interesting that says on the box here, Mark, is that you can also recycle the product. So your offcuts, if you've got a couple of these left over, I didn't think about that. I mean, it makes sense that it's from, recycled content to begin with. You could potentially recycle it again.
So when we're going with a 2x4 wall, you're looking at an R13. When you're going for a 2x6 wall, you're looking at an R20.
I've never seen this before. I didn't know they made this in bats. Every time I've used cellulose in the past, it's been a blown-in situation. I didn't know they could make a bat. There must be some kind of binder in here that makes it all...
It's very stable. It's friction fit, just like we're used to. You rub your face on it.
That's
I guess.
impressive. That is. I'm not going to do that with many insulation products, but that feels fine. You know, it's funny, and it kind
No
of...
odor.
It feels like a jeans material, but if you look close, I can actually see writing on that newsprint. But it feels great. A little dusty if you pat it. But the other thing that was interesting on here too, I thought they've added a EPA registered fungicide to make it mold resistant.
Class A building material, right? Non-irritating is how they call it. And you know, we could tell that because my hands are all over it.
Yeah, I mean, I rubbed my face on it and didn't have a problem. Let me get on the floor here and let me just cut a bat. I'm curious. This isn't even an insulation knife, but I'm curious what this will do with my knife.
Nice mold resistant product. I mean, it comes from our friends at Newall, so we're used to it. But
I need to use a bread knife to cut it. But the point is, never seen it in a bat form. That's gonna be interesting.
But that actually shows you how durable it is.
Yeah, I didn't cut it very easily, and this knife is sharp, so we do need a serrated blade
Great
to cut
way
it.
to check that.
Yeah. Mark, we're using this on an upcoming project. Which one is it?
That's right. Going back east, you all saw the last project. You guys remember Build Show Build Boston with Stephen Basic. The new one, multi-generational. So take your eyes, get ready for that one coming up because Newall, they're always ready to work with us.
That's very cool. All right, guys, check it out. We'll put links in the description for this one below. All right, Mark, what's up next?
Modular is all the rage. Check out our friends from Klein.
Oh man, I think Sparky's gonna like this. Modular system, all kinds of options. They call it mod box, it sounds like.
That's right.
And similar to some other systems we've seen in the market, slides in, snaps on, lots of different accessories. You got a coffee cup on the side, which of course is very important. What does that do?
Little transport box, right? So got your dividers, you can move around.
All your wing nuts and whatever else Sparky uses.
Take it up the ladder, come back and click.
This is kind of cool, Mark. Flop this over to this side so you can see. Little magnet attachment on the side, so whatever random tool you're using all the time, you can magnet on there. And of course, Sparky's backpack too. These are really getting a lot of traction on the job site as backpacks for tool use. Check this out. You got some great storage inside. Plus, what do we have here, Mark, in the Ridgid box?
Surprise from Mechanical Hub.
Yeah, this is not for Sparky. Oh man, look at that. A 100-year anniversary Ridgid. Oh man, that is awesome.
It's really nice. These American companies, I mean, Klein's a Chicago company, and that guy right there, everyone loves the pipe wrench. Right?
Made in USA. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, Eric from Mechanical Hub. How cool is that? That's beautiful. I feel like I should hang this on my wall somewhere prominent rather than actually use it.
Well, keep using the one you have, right? It'll last forever.
I mean, as little as I use a pipe wrench, though, as a builder, I got to say, this is probably still going to look pristine in my toolbox 5 years from now.
It's a showpiece. They made a very limited number.
That's really nice. Look at that, 1923 to 2023. That's neat. How cool.
It's phenomenal. You
I like
have a
it.
project coming up. Maybe your electrician has these, eh?
Yeah, you know, my electrician, Mark, his last name is Power. So I'm pretty sure he was born to be an electrician. But this is a really nice set. I'm impressed. Lots of options over here. Very cool.
Great job from Klein.
Yeah.
Modbox.
Okay, next up, Mark, fresh out of Vegas. I gotta say, this is a very interesting company. We saw them and with CJ, my electrician, and CJ kind of gave me the full 411 on this product. Let me help you understand what this is. It's called Skyx. And think about a wall outlet. Your electrician wires that, and then all you got to do is plug in any of your products that are made to plug into it. This kind of takes your fixtures to that level as well, where this would be on the ceiling. This would get wired into your traditional ceiling box, you know, your rough end box. And let me take the cover plate off so you can see what it looks like. What you're seeing here, Mark, is instead of your electrician having to hold a heavy fixture on a ladder and get that all wired up to that ceiling box where there's a fair amount of balancing act going on, this gets wired by the electrician, and this has I don't know what they call those. The electricians will probably get on me for saying the wrong thing, but there's 4 wiring positions on here for your different colored wires. So this gets actually attached to that rough end box on the ceiling, and then this gets snapped on. So now this is on the ceiling. Everything's safe. You can actually flip the light on, and as you touch this, you're not going to get electrocuted. Everything here is behind your fingers, totally safe. So now the electrician's done with his trim out. No fixtures yet in the house. You could go ahead and paint, do whatever you need to. The fixtures are not in the way. And then check this out. CJ showed me this. This gets wired to your ceiling hanging fixture. Either you can wire on this base here, and they've got a whole kit depending on, they call it a lighting base. It's depending on what color you want. They've got all the different options the designers are going to want to match those fixtures. Or you can go to onstoplighting.com and actually buy fixtures that have the base on already. But here's where the magic happens. This is wired on the ceiling, and this metal base right here, which by the way holds up to 50 pounds, actually, can you hear this noise? Clicks into the outlet. So now, once that outlet's on, it's wired, it's totally good to go, and it'll hold up to 50 pounds.
It's remarkable.
Isn't that neat?
The crowd in Las Vegas was out past the aisle.
Yeah, people thought it was pretty cool. And CJ did a really good job explaining this, I gotta say.
In fact, he did it with one hand.
Yeah, that's right. He was taking these fixtures and unplugging one fixture, plugging the next one in. I liked how CJ talked about this being a time saver. In fact, we made kind of a funny joke with the boxing gloves at the job site, knocking out time. You know, your electrician is one of the highest paid hourly workers on the job, and you're going to use your highly paid electrician to install this outlet at the ceiling. But behind that electrician can be the lowest paid assistant electrician, apprentice out there, who then is taking those fixtures out of the box and literally just plugging them in. In fact, it's so easy that the builder could actually do that as well. And that's another thing that really appealed to me, was that I could keep all of my fancy fixtures boxed up until after the movers are in. And what I would term as a jelly jar fixture, which we've used a lot over the years, that, you know, $5 to $10 fixture that came from the home center that basically is just a jar that holds a light bulb. We often need every single fixture in the house to be operating, to work, for the electrical inspector to come in and get his final inspection. We could have a bunch of these in a jelly jar type fashion, plugged in, they know they work, everything's good to go, and then literally I'm just going to unplug this, drop it out, plug the correct one in, and I'm good to go. That's very appealing to me as a custom builder.
Yeah, not just custom builders though. This is going to run wild in hospitality and senior care facilities and schools and colleges and churches, because there's a lot of servicing that goes on.
That's right.
There's changes that go on, and your electrician now doesn't have to come back for that install. They're protected along the way. You can make many adjustments, and right next to you is also a ceiling fan.
Yeah, and so if you go to that onstoplighting.com, they've got all these fixtures that are pre-wired with the Sky outlet on the fixture already, that you're literally just going to plug them in, you're good to go. Or they'll work with anything that's out there, whether it's a chain, whether it's a what do they call the pole-based fixtures? What am I trying to say? Whatever this is with a fixed down rod, all those different fixtures will work with this. So
kits,
they play nice with anything out there. I'm going to use this, Mark, on an upcoming project. This is going to be a lot of fun.
24 episodes, I heard.
I don't know if we've officially announced the Reisinger build project, but I've got a house coming up that we're going to be building start to finish on camera. So stay tuned for that. We're going to use these on that project. But the website is skyx.com, correct?
Skyplug.com.
Sorry, skyplug.com. The product is Skyx. Mark, did you see any of the videos of my house? I made a lot of custom fabricated pans for my house. These guys, I was excited to hear about.
I'm telling you, not only did I see it, but I was at your house a couple times during rough, and I remember asking you, how come you have so many drains around your house?
I put a pan underneath almost any appliance that has water, with the one exception of my ice maker in my kitchen. I didn't put a drain there. However, I did a pan, so any water that would happen down to that pan would drain forward and wouldn't get underneath my hardwood floors, let's say. Now, my dishwasher, I did put a drain on, not just a pan. But check this out, Mark. I had all mine custom fabricated.
Right.
This company makes them all online, and I think they're really pretty darn reasonable in price. Killarney Metals. But this pan in particular is the one that I think has broken the internet. If you're on social media, I've posted about it. Several others have as well. They call this a trench drain pan. So I believe this one is sized for an ice maker. You know, your Scotsman ice maker that slides in. If that thing drips, it's going to hit this edge here and want to roll that water forward. And then there's just a little screen so that you don't have this big open trough. But it comes with a drain, so you could, in theory, drain that to your actual plumbing system. You could also drain this straight outside. But it's this trench pan that I really like. I also would absolutely use this in the future for my washer and dryer, because they're very neat, they're They come pre-painted. It looks to me like you can get them in black or white, maybe silver too. I'm not totally sure, but that is a really fabulous piece of
the
safety.
refrigerators have the ice makers. They have the water lines. And I'm always worried. Now, these manufacturers are brilliant, right? They have great systems. But what if something goes wrong? This collects it. Your hardwood is now saved. Maybe there's a unit below you.
Yep.
Maybe it's your bedroom or your child's bedroom below you. And not only that, but it's just a sharp system. So all that together, folks at Killarney Metals.
Yeah, I like that. Now, Mark, on their website, I noticed too that there's a lot of different pans for specific things: refrigerator, washer, dual washer, dishwasher pans, water heater pans, HVAC pans, and then again some other stuff like oil pans and oven and grill pans, sink pans, and of course design your own pan too. So they will. It looks to me like they will custom fabricate for you as well. This trench drain though, absolutely love this. Fantastic. KillarneyMetals.com.
Real good quality stuff here. Just looking at the back, any plumber would be happy to hook up with this. If you're DIY, just make sure you do it right.
Yeah, good point.
Roll out the roof vent. We'll have passive ventilation.
All right, we're ready. All right, Mark, when you're done playing the accordion over here, let's talk about Roof iVent. RoofIVent.com. You ran into these guys at a show recently.
The roofing show.
The roofing show, okay. And honestly, I've never seen this brand or this catalog. This catalog is fascinating.
They have everything for everything. So when someone turns on, let's say their bath fan, right?
Yep.
Bath fan goes on its cycle. Maybe it's motion, maybe it's time, maybe it's on off. But afterwards, it's not pushing anymore.
Right. Now all of a sudden there's condensation on the line, potentially.
Yeah.
And that's coming back into the house because that real moist, humid air didn't get out. How does this solve it? That's some free turner right there.
Passive. That's going to be pulling it out.
That's pretty neat.
And it's so slick. You can see that nice
Bubble level on top.
bubble level
Yeah.
on top. But simple turn here. This is for maintenance, right?
Yep.
But this guy will come off.
Somehow. There we go. Takes a second.
It's because I'm not left-handed.
And I'm not helping a bit, am I?
So, right there, this spins so freely, right? And I'll tell you what, when this goes back on,
But what happens when you drop this? I mean, those things are pretty much trash once they get dropped once, right?
so I'm putting it back together. So now that we got the cap back on, simply take our bubble level.
Screw that thing back on. But what I'm concerned about, Mark, is if you drop that, a lot of those metal ones are trashed out at that point. Is this
So-
plastic one going to survive a drop?
Takes a licking and keeps on spinning.
Wow. I'll give it a whirl. Oh, that's impressive. All right.
That's the nature of why they invented this, because you're going up the ladder or you're driving in your truck, and it gets pinged and it gets panged.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Another thing I like about these guys, Mark, if you don't like the round, they've got an oblong shaped one, which I think is kind of nice looking. And check it out in their catalog, multiple colors too. That's kind of neat. Looks like a bunch of different options. But it looks to me like the accessories have been well thought out as well.
We have a classic boot.
Yep.
We have a classic connection that you'd obviously trim based on what you're going into.
That's nice.
The flex duct there,
And then this just clicks right in, I think, too, right?
it does, to the other unit over here,
Okay. And then this is a condensation collector.
which is amazing.
So if you're in a cold climate like Chicago, which I think this is where this company's based out of, right? Now you've got a way to actually catch that condensate and drain it so it doesn't get into the house.
That's right. And the one that you have here, that has the dual levels on it.
Yep.
Again, so once you're in motion and
This is
you're
not a whirly,
installing,
this is a fixed. But I mean, these are real modern looking. They're cool looking.
different colors, gray, black, clay, even brown. It's going to match everything. But they've thought of the whole system.
I like
No cords.
I like that they have wall vents options as well. I would like to not take my plumbing stacks out of the roof if I can avoid it. So a wall vent like this that really looks intentional would look a whole lot better than a white PVC pipe sticking out of the side of a house. And one other thing in the catalog that we didn't get, which I thought was really cool, was this cable boot. So if you know, hey, I'm going to bring solar in through my roof, I'm going to have a a satellite, I'm going to put a Starlink on the roof. This looks like this would be a really nice solution to keep a watertight cable connection. And what's cool is they make these for metal, for standing seam metal, for shingle, for slate. Lots of cool options. I'm impressed with this catalog.
European design, and it's all made, ready to go.
Based in Chicago, but roofivent.com. Now, Mark, when people think Maxell, the Japanese company, I think of headphones, right? I mean, in the 80s, wasn't this ad iconic? I mean, come on, that was so cool. But these guys also, I suspect, like a lot of Japanese companies, make all kinds of different products. I've not seen this before. This appears to be new in the States.
Yeah.
Maxell airtight products. I like any type of flashing, and this is a really interesting model because unlike some of the other flashing products that have a rubber gasket, and then you've got to attach it, this one has a butyl-based adhesive, and when we peel that off, by the way, it's a dual adhesive layer, so we could, what I would do if I was flashing something is I would stick that rubber to the top, let the pipe come through, leave that bottom layer on, so that when I run my house wrap, let's say, I can flap this over top, and it'll be shingle fashioned correctly, right, Mark?
And another way to handle it, if the pipe's already out of the wall, pretending that hand is by the wall, right? Then you're taking it and you're putting it over the pipe because you got there and the pipe's already there.
Yep.
And then you follow Matt's advice and you peel this off.
Peel the top.
Peel the top, slide it in.
Stick it.
And then the next one. It's rubber, right? So
yeah.
It's very versatile. And that butyl, once that's on there, you can see how tight it is.
Yeah, it's really nice.
It's going to bond really well.
I like these. Now, they do make them in all kinds of sizes. They sent us a sample pack with a little bit of everything here, from a 1/4-inch pipe all the way up to one that will fit, believe, a 5 to 6 inch pipe, and almost everything in between. So this is an interesting new product that I've not seen before.
It's the Maxell airtight products. They call it the MAP system, and they're available through the website in the description. And we have a project real soon that we're going to bring these on, and I think there's a video coming out with Eric as well.
I like it. I wonder how many other interesting products these guys make in Japan that they don't quite sell in America. So this is cool to see this coming in from another country, especially Japan, which is the manufacturing king of the world all those decades.
Just like the truck driving around, we used to have those cassettes ready to play or fast forward or rewind. Get these ready.
Cool stuff from Maxell. Mark, that can't possibly be marble. What is that material that you've got walking in here?
I tell you, it's ready to go, and that flexibility is real user-friendly.
Interesting. So it's called Questec, and all these material are everything on the table is by Questec. And when you go to the FAQ page, it says, what is this? Cast in Questec is a proprietary composite of metal, resin, and ceramic. The surface on these metal ones is a premium metal, and each tile and bath accessory comes from an original hand-carved design. So in other words, it looks a lot like an accessory you might use with, let's say, subway tile. I'm seeing a bunch of images on their website, but it's some type of man-made material that has a bunch of composites. Very interesting. A 1/4 round, they call it Jolly. They sell this in a 12-inch model, and they sell it in an 8-foot model, both. And they sell it in a variety of affinities, black and white, both. It's going to be a little hard to tell on camera, but it's easy for me to see. Both a glossy and a matte finish. So, Mark, it looks to me like this is a company that makes all kinds of different transition pieces.
Caps, trims, corners. It's going to make your installation really clean up tight. Exactly.
Yeah, I've done a lot of subway tile in my day, but these guys also make an interesting line of metal tiles as well, both for backsplash or whatever. But it's not actually metal. I guess the surface is really metal, but anyways, pretty interesting company. And they make other accessories that go with it as well. For instance, I'm noticing both Decora switches and plugs, as well as standard. to match a bunch of their accessories. So if you've got a wainscot tile in your bathroom, let's say, you could get the switches to kind of match with their finishes as well.
They've thought of the complete system. It's antimicrobial, right, which is what you want in these bath settings.
Yeah.
And it's also scratch and stain resistant. And, you know, even walking in here, I dropped this and it slid. And you can't tell. I mean, you right away thought this was metal.
Yeah, it's
pretty
pretty
see
neat.
from the camera. You think it's metal too.
I also have the suspicion that these are probably pretty moderately priced. So as a bath accessory, I suspect these guys have some really nice prices out there.
The other thing that's neat is not everyone has a wet saw. They work really great in a wet saw. But if you just have your regular miter saw, it works in that application too. So for the DIY community, this is for you. And for the pro, this works for you too. And yes, it's tile. So it's great for wet areas.
Questec.com. Whoo, Mark, that's a lot, dude.
That was a lot. That was
covered-
like 12,000 products.
It felt like it at times, didn't it? Mark, you know, we recently were at the Design and Construction Week.
And kitchen and bath.
In Kitchen and Bath, but we've got our own show coming up. If you guys don't know about it, we've got Build Show Live coming up in November, Austin, Texas, 2024. Sign up at buildshowlive.com for updates. Tickets are going to go on sale sometime in late spring. So, guys, if you didn't know Mark Willie before, now you know him. He's a Build Show producer. He's often behind the scenes, but Mark, I appreciate you lining up new products for me today.
I'm excited because for the folks that come to Austin in November, they might have a chance to see some of these products themselves.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to have some amazing manufacturers and some great education. So mark your calendars. With that being said, Mark, hit that subscribe button below, guys. You know, we've got new content here every Tuesday and every Friday. Follow us on TikTok or Instagram. Otherwise, we'll see you next time on The Build Show.